Hey guys, what's going on? I am Nick and it's just a Honda Accord and I am coming to you from Phoenix, Arizona in the middle of July and it is freaking hot out here. But that's par for the course if you're in the desert in the summer. On this week's episode, I'm going to be wrapping up my car audio install on my 10th gen Honda Accord. And specifically on this week's episode, I'm going to show you how to rip apart the rear and replace the rear speakers with some upgraded ones. I am going to be showing you how I made my custom bracket on the back of the seats that mounts to it. I'll also be revisiting the front doors and showing you what I had to do to modify the door panels to fit some beefy 6.5 hcca Orion speakers in there. And then I will also show you what the finished product looks like of everything installed. And then lastly, I'll give you a review of it and let you know, after all this time, effort, money, was it worth it? Before getting to that, I want to talk about something ultra cool that has happened in the last couple of weeks since I last got a video up. And that is the channel has surpassed 1,000 subscribers. And I can't believe it. I never would have thought that the channel would be the success it has turned out to be. And would have never thought that so many people would be willing to check out some geeky software engineer that works on cars part-time, see what I'm doing, but it's ultra cool. And I've gone about doing things, I like to think, a little bit differently than other channels. And specifically the approach that I have taken as I've been finding my way over the course of the last year is I'm trying to be like a video technical manual on doing different installs for the Honda Accord. And I find that I'm very much into doing the builds and I'm a visual learner. So I try to show you as much detail, it's over the top, but if I take all this video, I might as well share it with you. And, something that I very consciously do is I do not fast forward different sections. I think it's important to see me struggle, see the different tools that I use, see how I access things. Where I think most channels will just fast forward, put on some montage music, and or just show you like the last clip of them getting the piece off and not talking about or showing the 20 minutes beforehand that led to getting to that point. And the goal is that I don't want there to be any unexpected surprises. If you see me do an install, I really want you to get a real gauge as for what it's going to take to do it. The other thing is I don't play music typically in any of my videos, and I normally talk while I'm actually struggling and showing how to do something. And there's a very pointed reason for that. It's because there are visual learners, there are also audible learners. And some people are really good at picking up things from seeing other people. Some people are really good at comprehending when somebody talks. So when I talk through things, I'm trying to reach out and hit that audible portion of the audience. And then lastly, if you're not either one of those two types of learners and you're one that gets it from reading comprehension, that's why I offer my email, justahondaaccord@gmail.com, and you can hit me up at Instagram or in the comments. And I like to think that between those three mediums, I'm able to accommodate any type of learner to try and make working on your car something that's approachable that you could actually do. So that is my rationale with regard to how I approach my channel and my episodes. And I recognize that it's not going to be the most entertaining channel out there. It's not really intended to be. If it is entertaining, that's great. But there's probably going to be a ceiling on how popular this channel is going to get because of how I approach it, and that's fine. At the end of the day, what I'm trying to do is give back, because somebody 10 years ago reached out to me and offered to teach me how to work on cars, and I took him up on it. and you know, they spent some time with me and showed me how to do some things, and then I took off. And I'm hoping that by you spending some time with me and me showing you what I do, what tools I use, that the same type of thing is going to happen, where you're going to see me doing these things and you're going to go, this doesn't look that bad, I think I can do it. And you're going to start doing it, and the next thing you know, you're going to be unlocking this whole passion behind yourself and working and building your own car that you never knew you had. So you know, that's really the goal behind this, the passion behind doing the channel. And I know it has been successful based on different emails and messages I've gotten over the last year. The thing that has really fired me up to keep putting out content, even though life is busy with family and work and everything else, is when I get messages from people and they're like, hey, I've never worked on a car before, and I've been watching several of your episodes, and I said, you know what, I'm going to pick something that looks pretty easy amongst the things you've done, and I've gone out and done it. And it worked exactly like you showed it, and I could do it, you know, and I'm going to do more. And when I've gotten messages like that, it fires me up, and it gives me some validation that what I'm doing is providing the impact that I wanted it to have. So anyways, extremely grateful for everybody who is spending their time with me, you know, checking out what I'm doing. And if you're working on your car based on what you see me doing, I appreciate you giving your trust into me. You know, in full candor, I've told you I'm not a professional mechanic. I'm just a regular guy. I'm a programmer by trade, and I just do this for fun. And this is one of those deals where, you know, I have no formal training. The way I've learned is largely like how you're learning right now, is through checking out channels, reading content, and then a little bit of trial and error in there. So anyways, that's just wanted to give a little bit of background about the channel, talk about where it's going to keep going, which is I'm going to keep doing more of the same. And I think that the camera angles are getting better. I think that the editing is getting a little bit better, and hopefully the caliber of the channel is going up. But the format of it, the structure of it is probably going to be pretty similar going forward. So without further ado, I'm going to take you out to doing the install on the car today.
Not sure how well this angle is going to come out, but basically to pull the seats out, there is a squeeze tab underneath here. And basically you reach between the cushion and you just squeeze the sides and you pull toward the front of the car. Then you can lift up, you do the same thing on the other side, and then I think this thing is gonna pull right out. So let's try this side. There we go. And that's all she wrote. So I went ahead and basically tucked in the seat belt receptacles, but this center section is being held in. So I'm gonna have to fold down the seat. I'm guessing there is a tab or something holding that in. We'll see. All right, so there is a couple don't want to break those clips. Pin clip, which is why I like this tool, because it basically surrounds the clip, and you know, it applies even pressure to both sides of it so you don't break it. I'm gonna do the same thing over here and try and get some light. So do the same thing. Probably would be easier if I fold this guy down. There we go. And now, fumble. Oh, there's more. There's one more big clip Another push pin type right down here, and I'm going to try and get under it here. There we go. And with that out of the way, it looks like there might be one bolt that's holding this whole seat cushion on. And it's probably a 10. We'll see. So I used it was a 10 millimeter bolt, and I used my 10 millimeter ratcheting flex head wrench. Left my camera up at the front of the car and was going to climb out to get it to show you me ratcheting this in. I'm just putting this bolt back in place so I don't misplace it. I'm hoping this is the winning ticket, getting the seat out. We'll see. I didn't see anything else holding it up. And let's see here. Can I pull it out? It looks free. Oh, there's a harness. Okay, so there's a harness over there as well, and some Cheerios for my children. Well, I was hoping that I might be able to drive this car tomorrow to work, but you know, and just pull the back seat out to get a good start and drive without it. But there's a harness back there. It might be for the airbag or something. I don't know. But I'm going to disconnect my negative now and make sure that it's tucked away on the battery terminal. I'm going to replace the nut there so I don't lose it. And I'll probably have to drive the old Chevy tomorrow. Well, this was actually a little bit of a pain. I found it easiest. I'll go ahead and do it again. But I pushed down as hard as I could. And I ended up using two hands pretty much to slip it out there. See, it's a pretty firm plug, but when that's done, then the seat cushion's free and I can pull it out. So this is what the seat area looks like without the cushion there. This is a better look at those two tabs that you have to pull. And I need to get my son back here because there is a ton of Cheerios, Fruit Loops that have fallen through the cracks. And while I'm back here, I installed these back when I bought the car. I can't really remember how they, yeah, that guy there just slips out. And I think there's a couple, maybe. Yeah, well, there you go. Piece of cake. And, oh, went flying. I'll go ahead and just reseat that right there. Pull this to the side. Do the same thing on the other side of the car. All right, round two. And there we go. Oh, I probably need something to pull this one out. This one's a little more stubborn. Not a big deal. So that looks like pretty much it for this area. Back, and what I'm seeing is that this cushion is it's kind of in the way of this panel. And yeah, I can't pull this panel out. So it looks like I need to take this cushion off. Whoops. So take this cushion off, and then maybe pull this panel here on the side. We'll see. Looks like there's a 10mm bolt right here that I'm going to have to remove. So I'll go ahead and pull this. Get that bolt off, and this looks like it just pretty much pulls right out, maybe, except the seatbelt. So would help if I could have folded my seat down, I think. Okay. Let's see. Okay, I just pushed up. And, oh yeah, you can see. Here's a little clip right here. And this is what the back of that panel looks like. It's helpful. Deal, I'm going to just do a rinse and repeat of removing this 10mm bolt from the side, and then pull this panel, and maybe the deck lid will be free. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to disconnect this one clip and then push up, grabbing up here, and there we go. All right, and now I think the question is, does this curious. It looks like this panel might have to come out. Okay. There's one clip right here. Okay. Okay. This will all come off as one. Oh, look at that. It's got a little slot for the seatbelt. I'm going to do the same deal. And I start by popping this off now that I know that the clip, I got this one first. Okay, pull this guy, get a little bit more play. There's one clip, I believe, right there. Yep. Now, can I pop that guy out? Okay. Don't lose that. Okay, then separate these two. Then a little bit play in the headliner, because I want to be able to push up, go over this clip, and I'm pushing down on it with my fingertips. I think it's helpful to loosen this up a little bit. All right, thought I had it. It's very close. I think the issue is this. Don't want to break the clip. Whew. Had a little flex on that clip. There was a risk, but it worked out. So just gentle. Try and tuck that headliner back in so you're not wrinkling it a little bit. And just kind of work your way. There we go. All right. And last but not least, and same deal. This. Okay. There we go. Okay. So at this point, all that's left is the plastic lid, and I'm gonna, let's see here. Let's review this. Just making sure there's no bolts. I wonder if it makes the most sense to So there's some clips right here. Oh my, that was a lot more aggressive than I would like. Probably should be a little bit more gentle, but then yeah, and these come up, so you push up. All right, so I'm just pushing up. Okay. And then what? So we got another seat belt in the middle here. Let's see if I can. No, I don't want to push down on it and clip it back in. Okay. Totally loose. Got my light in there. What am I clipped on? Looks like I just need one more on the other side. And okay, now I'm gonna try and just work the sides. So don't do what I did. Make sure you disconnect all the harnesses first, particularly the tweeters on both sides. And then there's an additional plug on the driver side, right next to the tweeter and the third brake light. Just disconnect them all, and then all I did was just lift up, you know, grab into these latches, lift up a little bit more, pop all the clips. You can see there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 clips, it looks like, from this vantage point 9. And now I should be ready to pull this guy out, I hope, unless I'm caught, and I'm not. All right, and if it's helpful, when I did that violent pull up, you can see I accidentally broke one of these tabs that goes into this slot. I am probably going to want to put some Dynamat on that section there, and to try and protect against a rattle or do something else, but it happens. So that's what it looks like. And then up top, this is what the what the deck lid looks like exposed. Okay, so whoops. On the sub, it's got a, looks like 3 10mm, and I'm gonna want to pull this one first. Ratchet will do. Like usual, my 10mm I was using has mysteriously gone somewhere. So I had my 10mm stubby flex head wrench lying around and just figured, what the heck. So I would say if there was any area that would be good candidate for putting down the Kilmat, it's gonna be this deck lid, given it's all metal back here. Let's see. All right, and is that it? Oh, there was a 4th one back there. I just can't see it from my perspective. Okay. And there we go. Next, one screw. This looks like a 8. It's an 8. The tweeters came out with the deck lid. Hoping there's not as much fabrication involved to get them to fit, but we'll see. As always. Man, that thing is, they're good. Okay. Let's see. This one. Whoops. Okay. And last one. Anyways, you guys get the idea.
So I'm getting ready to mount my tweeters into the back of my rear deck lid, and I can't use the OEM OEM mounting point per se, at least on the underside, because my tweeter is too big. So basically I have this tweeter mount, and there's like this metal cross bracket that screws in to the bottom of it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill a pilot hole, very small one, in the middle of this, and then I'm going to use my hole saw and drill out this section so that this cup will sit right in this place. And to make sure that the hole I'm going to be drilling is correct, I went ahead and drilled it into
some scrap wood I had just to test. And if you take one of these and you push it in there, without the metal bracket, it's a little loose, but with the metal bracket on, it's like a press fit, and I won't even need to use silicone. And then as far as the tweeter sitting in here goes, it's magnetically drawn to the screw with the magnet on the back of the tweeter, so it's going to stay in place, and then you can, you know, push this around and kind of aim it in the direction that you like. So without further ado, let's get to drilling. You really only get one chance at this, so don't want to screw this one up, because okay, got a little pilot hole. Now I'm going to take my hole saw and drill this. I actually found the best technique was to have the hole saw on reverse, just because it was wanting to jump and kind of chatter across. And you can see I took out the little piece here. I'm going to grab my tweeter mount and slap it in there. You know, I'll take a little bit of sandpaper, but clean this up so you don't see that roughness. But yeah, you get the idea. So now I'm gonna be better doing the other side, hopefully less clumsy. And since you're learning from my mistake here, hopefully it'll be less clumsy too. So that's as good as it's gonna get. Okay, so I have my drill in reverse. Try and get it dead center. Look top down. Okay. And there we go. Took some sandpaper and I got this tweeter mounted. Oops. And I'm gonna go ahead and see how this guy fits. I'm hoping it's pretty tight, and if not, I can always use silicone if I need it. But, oh yeah, that is, oops. I gotta really press on it to get it in there, but yeah, I think it looks pretty good. So there's the finished product. Just gotta do the other side. I'm just gonna do a quick demonstration of how I use my Kilmat. And I think that's nice is it has these lines in it. And basically what my process has been is to cut out strips and, you know, that fit and basically put it on the metal. I'm not gonna put any on top of this sound deadening material because there's not gonna be much benefit. But I think I'm probably gonna definitely put it in this area, probably here, you know, and yeah, and that's pretty much gonna be it on this. Just because I'm not really that worried about rattles. So anyways, with that in mind, the only other thing that you got to be aware of is when you're putting this stuff on, if you cover up any clip holes or screw points, you're gonna have to carve that out with like a drill bit or a screw or X-Acto knife, you know, whatever you got. So for this, I am going to, you know, probably cut off a section here, cut this in half. I'm just using scissors. Cuts easy, it's pretty easy to work with. It's pretty gummy stuff, but if you get it on your skin or anything, it does come off pretty easily. So anyway, this is still a little bit too big. I'll probably take off a little corner, but it's a pretty time-consuming process of cutting all the strips. So on the rear deck lid, I really wanted good coverage because there's a lot of stuff that can rattle. I'm not near as concerned on the front door, so just cause it's here. And it's just, you know, I'm using these little lines in for reference. And just doing some cutting. There we go. That should be good. And then I can tuck this under. And then got to make sure I keep those holes all clear after the fact. So this is just what the backing looks like. This is very gummy stuff, and I'm gonna go ahead and try and keep an eye on what holes I'm covering. So like, I'm gonna keep my finger right down here. I'm going to be covering that hole. I don't want to do that. Okay. And I'll just put this on top. And that's pretty much it. And then I have a roller to press this in. And then I just need to get my X-Acto knife. And you don't want to cut it against the edge because you don't want to cut the metal, but I actually try to couple ways you could do it. You could make a cross and just tuck in the corners. That's going to leave a little excess. I've been basically cutting a circle inside of the middle, kind of score it, and then tuck it in. So this is pretty much all I did. I'll probably add a couple more pieces like under here, but basically I put Kilmat pretty much under any spot that I thought there could be a rattle, and that's pretty much it. And the deck lid, I was a lot more comprehensive just because there's so many spots. But I kind of went a little nuts back here, but you can see it's pretty much completely covered. And I think that's, yeah, I'm gonna do more on this face here, but that's it. And by the way, here's the roller that I'm using. So I took my cardboard templates that I made, that's going to mount to the back of my seats, and then I traced it onto my sheet of wood. And now I'm going to use my jigsaw and cut this out. cut my table. Good. Okay, so these are the boards that I'm going to be mounting to the back of my seat to drill into for all my wires and everything. I didn't take video carpeting it, but it's really not that hard. I didn't do the best job, but from the front, it looks pretty decent. And the specific carpet, I'll put a link to it, but it has the adhesive on it, and I just rolled it with my little roller over there after I cut it to fit, and then I'm gonna go ahead and screw these into the back of the seat, and being mindful of that plastic center armrest area, because that's going to be thinner than the other areas. But I went ahead and just tacked up a couple of screws before carpeting it to make sure.
I'm going to take the door panel off all by myself.
Yes, you did. That's how easy taking a door panel off is, because it's literally one screw, and my 4-year-old here was able to take it off almost entirely by himself. So anyway, that was pretty cool moment. But aside from that, this is just a picture or a visual of how thick this lip is, and you can see this is, you know, probably close to an inch in some places. So that's why I have to grind this down so that I can fit my bigger hcca speakers in. And now we ground that lip down. I'm gonna clean this up and clean all this melted plastic out of here. But that's what it looks like ground down, and now have enough clearance to mount my speaker. All right, so we got all of our safety goggles on and some gloves, and we have to Dremel out these 1/2-inch brackets a little bit, just so that the speakers will fit. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay guys, so this is the finished product, and here's my 0 gauge wire. Probably could do a little bit cleaner job with the fuse block, but it's not an eyesore or anything. And then visually from the front doors, there's nothing to tip it off that there's an aftermarket system in here. And if you saw my last video, you saw I kind of gouged a little bit underneath there, but with the screen up, you can't tell. And I didn't videotape me doing this step. There's actually been a lot of interest on doing the base knob, but basically you pull this panel off. This empty little panel here has a couple of squeeze tabs. You pull it out from the back, you drill a hole through it, you have to Dremel behind it, and then you disassemble your base knob, screw it onto there, and you can see there's a little nut on the side there that holds that on, and that's it. In the back, when I first did this video, I had 4 sets of crossovers back here. Now I don't, since I have dedicated mids. Done a little bit of rewiring, but this is the final product. Got my sub to stop sliding around, using some industrial strength Velcro that stuck to my rubber mat, so I resolved that issue. And I actually picked up a metal grill for this because I put my giant hockey bag into the trunk regularly, and I didn't want it to puncture a hole through the subwoofer. So yeah, I got that. And here's another angle. How I did my wiring. So, and then this is the pre-cut board that I made, and you know, and then these seats do fold up. I won't say it folds up you know, as easily as it did without all the wires, but it goes up quickly. And then you know, if I actually need extra space, since I don't have the amps and everything mounted to the sub, I can just easily disconnect those two power terminals and pull my sub out in 2 minutes. So that's really handy. But that is the finished product. And hopefully somebody will check this out and do something better than I did.
So as far as the review of this setup goes, I mean, after all this time, after all this money, after all this effort, do you think there's any way that I would be able to tell you that it wasn't worth it? Honestly, if it wasn't, I would tell you. I would, because I wouldn't want you to go through all of this and come up short. But honestly, the system that I have in my Accord right now is the best car audio system I've ever had in my life. It sounds absolutely incredible. And truthfully, you are probably going to get your most return on investment through upgrading your car audio, because of all the different mods that you do. The one thing you're listening to, you're using every single second you drive your car, is that car audio system. And when it sounds as good as mine does, I mean, it's just, it makes every single moment driving your car that much better. So I'm completely blown away with the sound. Orion, blown away with that brand. And I think for bang for your buck, you're going to be hard pressed to find better speakers, better amplifiers than going with Orion. But I'm really pleased with that. The sub is way more than I could have ever wanted. I probably would have done a 10-inch Solobaric if I could do it again, just because this 12, it sounds incredible, but I'm not even pushing it remotely close to what it can put out. And it's more than enough. It sounds awesome. Absolutely love it. And the Rockford powering that has been great. So my original goal is I wanted to upgrade the sound with pretty much no negatives associated with it. And I will tell you, I have accomplished that, at least in the short term. And I accomplished that in the form of I have no rattles. I cannot hear any rattles, whether I have the stereo all the way down, whether I have it up. I do not hear anything rattling in my cabin. So I think between the Kilmat, the attention to detail on the clips, and being careful has really paid off. And then the other thing that is a big bonus is most people will mount their amplifiers and LC7Is and those types of things directly to their box. And when you do that, if you ever need to remove your subwoofer from the trunk, it's a lot more of a chore. Because like if you need more space in that trunk, it's going to take you maybe 20 minutes to take out your sub and amp and everything else. Plus it weighs a ton. And then it's going to take you another 20 minutes to put it back in. But the way I have it set up, where I have all my electronics mounted to that back panel that I made, the subwoofer, it's literally just disconnecting the speaker wire to it and pulling it out in 2 minutes. And then I have my space back in the trunk. So from a functional standpoint, the way I approached my build, I am extremely pleased with. It's very functional, no negatives to it, and it sounds absolutely spectacular. So I've let a few people listen to it, and yeah, everyone that's checked it out thus far has just been blown away with the sound. So was it worth it? Yes, it was worth it. And given how poor the stock Honda Accord system is, I would argue that this should be your first thing that you do if you're at all into listening to music, because it is going to make this car so much more enjoyable. So as far as what is next, I have my iBack front sway bar sitting over there, but in order to install it, I have to drop the front subframe, and I need to wait till it cools down a little bit to be willing to do that. So it's probably going to be, I don't know, 6 to 8 weeks before I reach that point. So between now and then, I did order some V3 taillights that are going to be coming in. You know, I ordered them like a month and a half ago, and they've been on back order. So with any luck, those guys will be in here next month. We'll do an episode on that, and I also just surpassed my 1-year anniversary with the car, so I was thinking about doing an episode maybe on my top 3 things with the car and least favorite 3 things, or maybe doing an episode and just talking about maybe my favorite mods that I've done on the car. So let me know in the comments down below if either one of those things sound interesting to you that you'd want to hear about. And maybe you have an idea on a show that I could do. You have questions about something I've done you'd really like to know about, and you know, let me know, and maybe I'll do an episode on it. So that's all I got for today. I really appreciate you guys checking out the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. And if you got value out of this episode, give me a thumbs up. And if you didn't, give me a thumbs down and let me know why. Either way, I would love to hear from you. Would love to hear what you think about the build and about the stereo. And that's all I got for today. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time.